What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about if we need an Uncharted 5. Just kind of talk about the franchise a little bit, about where I could see it going, if this is the year. I know we made a video, I made a video a few weeks or months ago talking about Uncharted in general, like what could we get from Uncharted in 2022. Now, obviously, Legacy of Thieves collection is out. I think I'm gonna try to align this video to to go with that. On my second channel, I actually did a video that will eventually go out, depending on the day, where I look back at my favorite moments of Uncharted 4. Very kind of emotional and raw video that maybe I haven't really done before. Hopefully, you guys like it. And so for this channel, I wanted to do something a little bit more straightforward, but talk about the future, because obviously this game has got me thinking about Uncharted quite a bit, all day, every day, and I miss it. I mean, I just to be genuine, you know what I mean? Just to be kind of aware of where I stand. You know, I've said it before, Uncharted is my favorite game franchise ever of all time, and Uncharted 4 is my favorite game, a single game of all time. So there's a biasness there, but there is also just like a genuine love and appreciation for the franchise and for Naughty Dog for giving it to me. Nolan North, Amy Hennig, right? Just so many talented people. And I miss it. I miss it so much. And seeing Uncharted 4 and Lost Legacy and those, coming out together again in this remaster, it does get me thinking about the future. Obviously, we have the Tom Holland movie coming out very, very soon. And I would say this. I want a new game. I want a new game very badly. I've always wanted. I understood Uncharted ending. I did. And I still stand by it. And I would say if I even go back and listen to the videos, because I know I was very violently against the idea of Nate ever appearing again. It's such a love for his character and for the ending of 4, really, right? And just, I guess, the legacy of him. The legacy of a thief's end, literally ending his story there. And I think I still stand by it mainly, where I don't want him to be a main character. I don't even know if I'd want to be able to play as him, even for a very small cameo role. But to have him be in it, especially if we're talking about his daughter, them just going forward with that, I would take it. I really would. I think I've kind of backed down a little bit on that. I think there's definitely a place for Nate to return we've seen it with movies, right? With properties of passing the torch. I think Uncharted did it very well, but you could always have him kind of help out, his daughter. So you have that, but I guess what I really want to try to say here is, I guess what I don't want is a remake of 1. Look, the unknown is a scary thing. It is what it is. It's what the word implies. It's unknown. You don't know about the success. It's not a guarantee. You know what I mean? Because if you make an Uncharted 5 with their daughter, right, then you have a new cast. You'd have to. It'd be a new cast of characters. I guess you could say they could do a Lost Legacy or The Lost Legacy 2, in which case you could have, Nadine and Chloe again. You could have Sam. You could maybe even bring Sully into that, depending on it, if you wanted to, right? So, there's a way to keep those kind of core characters with letting Nate and Elena, funny enough, literally retire. Kind of step to the side, which I don't think is wrong. I don't think it's a negative thing. And that's definitely an option too, right? You could do an Uncharted 1 remake. You could do an Uncharted The Lost Legacy 2. You could do an Uncharted 5. And those are, I would say, your options. Now, as I said, the Uncharted 1 remake, again, I get the familiarity. I get the fact that Uncharted 1 could be more. I guess you could say that out loud. It could definitely be a bigger game, or a game that more or less is like 2, 3, 4. But I've also said it before in terms of why I'm against an Uncharted 1 remake. I don't know. I don't know how far you'd be able to push 1 unless you add, because 1, I love 1. 1 started the whole thing. 1 is maybe the most important one. You know what I mean? But it's also, I think, the worst. I easily think that, just because of the limitations and obviously just being your first one. But I don't know if you can make any of the things that were in Uncharted 1, if you could enhance it to get to the level of a 4. Maybe you could in a remake, but I'm talking also set pieces, and the story is definitely solid enough, but it's nothing, too special. So I don't know. I just think, you leave it alone. Maybe eventually you do a remake of that. Maybe you do, I don't know. They did the remaster for 4 and Lost Legacy. You've already done the Nathan Drake collection. Maybe you do something in the future where you up all of them all at the same time. Those are tough choices they're gonna have to make. But I really think I want something new. I want the next one, I guess, right? And again, Like, I'm not saying it's guaranteed to be great, because at the end of the day, I do think Uncharted 4 started to show some weaknesses of maybe even like the story group, right? The board group that they came up with that kind of stuff. Some of the character decisions, some of the stuff like that, and I think a lot of that was Amy Hennig not being there. I fully believe, and now it could be for the better or for the worse. That's up to. I'm not going to tell you what to think. I think Neil Druckmann and Bruce Straley did really well, given what they did for with Uncharted 4. I think they did great, but I do think there were some weaknesses, their choices or Neil's choices for like The Last of Us and Last of Us Part 2. I don't know if I'd even want the same group that's been doing these to make a new Uncharted game. I really don't know. All I want from it, I guess, would be a studio that, like, you're in, the quality is like the number, which Sony kind of tries to pride themselves on that, right? So, quality is number one. Whether maybe we make choices you don't like or you do like the quality is going to be very high. So ultimately, I mean, that's one of the main things I'm looking for in the next game. But I don't know. You also look at what Naughty Dog is doing. I don't really see Uncharted being one. I mean, you look at really almost like a trilogy of Last of Us stuff, almost, right? You have The Last of Us multiplayer, you have The Last of Us remake, and you have actually The Last of Us Part 2 director's cut, which is heavily rumored that they're working on as well. So it seems like they're just a Last of Us team again, and not doing anything else. But maybe they could be. Again, we've had rumors in the past of Uncharted 1 being remade. Remember, that's when that whole Ben Studio thing after Days Gone and that whole debacle. But I don't know. I feel like Uncharted is definitely not dead. Nathan Drake is still, I think, regarded as one of like the top several, when you think of PlayStation icons, I think people still think of like Crash and stuff as well, which is fine. But Nate's obviously still there, and he's been gone for 6 years, almost just a little under, but it's gonna be 6 years this May. So it's incredible. It's incredible the staying power that Uncharted has had. It also has always sold insanely well, for obviously selling the best as well. So I can't imagine Sony wanting to, and PlayStation, right, wanting to be done with it. You know what I mean? Again, you have the movie. Like, why would you do the movie? To me, the movie is the most telling. And obviously, you're going to do Nathan Drake because that's what everybody knows. But the movie is the most telling that Uncharted is still very much in their minds. And I can't see the PS5, the entire PS5 generation going by without something. Now, you could argue. I was going to say without something Uncharted. You could argue Legacy of Thieves Collection. Is it? I don't think so. I don't. I think there'll be an actual Uncharted game that releases in the next 2, 3, 4, whatever time frame you want to give. I really do believe there'll be a new one. And again, I'd very much be against an Uncharted 1 remake, just like I'm against The Last of Us 1 remake. I think that's an incredibly stupid idea. I think that's a waste of resources. I think that's a waste of time. I guess time is a resource in a way, right? I'm just not a fan at all, and I don't support that idea. And I wouldn't support the Uncharted. Now, does that mean I won't buy it? I don't know. I'll be hypocritical and say I'll just wait, to see what it looks like, and maybe I will be a hypocrite and get it anyway. But that's just the same thing. It's the same thing. I don't like that idea of doing it. I'd rather see them push Uncharted in a new direction, even if, and I'll stand by this, even if again it's an unknown. You don't know. They could ruin it. They could ruin it with the next game, because if you don't have Nate to lean on, which I highly doubt they would, right? Like lean on massively as your main character. I don't know. It's not guaranteed anymore. I guess maybe were any of them guaranteed? Maybe not. But I just, I would not have full trust in them. I wouldn't, or I guess not even trust. I wouldn't have full confidence that the game is going to be amazing. Also, when you keep making games that are better, in my opinion, Uncharted has always gotten better. I was always on the side of 3 is better than 2 and 4 is better than 3, which then means 4, 3, 2. Okay, in my ranking. So in my opinion, they've always gotten better. Like I said, 4 is my favorite game ever of any game, not just Uncharted. So to say my expectations would be high for Uncharted 5 is obvious. You know what I mean? Obviously, I would want 5 to be incredible, and that's high expectations. So we'll see what happens. But I really think, I don't know if we're going to get an announcement this year, but Uncharted is definitely not dead. You know what I mean? It's definitely around. It's just who's going to pick it up. Are they going to do a remake? Are they going to do a new game? Are they going to do a spin-off like Lost Legacy or just Lost Legacy 2? What's the next move? So let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Make sure, as always, you guys are subscribed to the channel. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up. Obviously, if there's any news, if there's ever any news on Uncharted, I'll be sure to cover it on the channel. If you want to follow me anywhere else, all my social media is in the description below for you guys to check out. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you all on the next video.